Hey guys, welcome to week 13. We only got 2 more weeks. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's flown by. It's good to still see that there's a lot of teams still in the action. I mean, I think Alex is fully eliminated now, but everyone else is still in the hunt. Pretty solid.
Jumping into last week's matchups, highest median of the year. We're coming in swinging. Well, some of us. I'm not. The league is coming in swinging though. 118 point median. That's super high. Starting off, Red Rain versus Bad Boys. You guys were the median game.
It literally came down to the very last offensive play for me to win with DJ Moore. Alex's team going off.
Alex trying to hang in there for another week of playoff contention. Couldn't do it. 1 point.
And it continues a streak of not being able to win post week 11. About as close as you can get, honestly, to the win this time in week 12. But still got 2 more chances. I hope he doesn't now that he's not playing me.
Yeah, got some chances to screw some people up.
Exactly, yeah. If you can't go to the playoffs, you might as well ruin someone else's season while you're at it.
Yep. Then we had Trade Station versus Abilene Woodpeckers. Also came down to Monday night. Also happened in the last 5 minutes of the game. Miller passed me. Super sad. I even said whenever Monday Night Football was like getting to halftime, I was like, this is annoying because I know that he's going to pass me at some point and they're just trying to get my hopes up. Yeah, my team not looking good the past 2 weeks. Only 112. Miller gets his revenge from my 170 point game. So fair enough.
Well, at least he didn't pay it back in the same way. You know, at least he didn't drop 170 on you.
Yeah, true. Honestly, though, I kind of would have preferred not having hope going into Monday.
Yeah,
just go ahead
fair.
and blow me out of the water. But yeah, I'm back-to-back losses. Miller back-to-back wins. So then we had Mahomes Improvement versus Grillers. Chris, after some shaky few weeks there, comes back with a top 3 performance, back where he likes to sit most of the time, and Colt gets a loss, doesn't get the super high median, but Grillers are over 100 for every game that they've been the Grillers. So
That's true, yeah. And Chris's team minus Mandrews not seeming to slow down at all. So that's terrifying for the rest of us, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, good for Colt staying above 100. You know, not going to always win if you flirt around that 100 area, but most weeks than not, you'll at least get the median that way. So.
And then we had What'll It Take versus Hungry Hush Puppies, and Chase has just been tired of Aaron beating him year in and year out. They're always a good game, but it always seems like Aaron pulls it out, and Chase beating him both times this year. This week with the top score versus Aaron's bottom score of the week. So unfortunate for Aaron. Aaron's still good team on paper, awful on the scoreboard. So he cannot figure out how to get that paper to work for him. And Chase just been staying strong at number 4.
Yeah, I mean, they did that trade earlier in the year with the Josh Jacobs, Jonathan Taylor swap being the main focus of that. Both of those guys had 20-plus point games. So for Chase's sake, it seems like his team has responded better with Josh Jacobs instead of Jonathan Taylor. So, and JT now having thumb surgery, it kind of worked out in his favor. Unfortunate for Aaron. Back-to-back years now of trading for a running back and then that running back getting hurt.
Yep. That is super unfortunate. And then last game of the week was Pantaji Football Team versus the Unknowns. Jacob got his revenge from earlier in the year, 126 to 100. Garrett over 100 again. That's pretty good. But Jacob, I got to say, he had back-to-back bottom scores of the league, 60-point games. He's like, you know what? Selling my team, committing to the rebuild, and has had back-to-back top 3 scores past 2 weeks. So this might be the worst rebuild attempt anybody's ever witnessed. I mean, he says he's in a rebuild and then comes out and does that. Like, what a liar.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the hell backwards juju Jacob has put on this roster, getting rid of his best players. Obviously, he got some tools in return, but he got mostly picks. This wasn't meant to be a, back half of the season continuation.
You know what it is? The very first year, Jacob tried to pull a fast one on Colt, sent Colt Derrick Henry, and that gave Colt the championship. And Jacob, right now, just trying to get that juju back on his side. He got Colt that championship year 1 by trying to finagle a trade, and this year he was like, you know what, I'm going to trade away all my best players and see if I can swap that around and maybe I can be the Colt of the year. And he's been 4-0 since doing it, so he might be onto something.
I mean, maybe.
Taking a look at the standings, We had 3 straight weeks of 6 teams moving. Nobody moved this week.
Yeah, I mean, eventually we all had to kind of settle in. I mean, I secured the bye week now. Alex is officially mathematically out. There's a couple teams that if they don't pull it out this week, they're going to join Alex in the mathematically out category. You're not secured in the bye week, but you do have a pretty handy points for lead. So if you do get in any kind of tiebreaker scenarios, you should have the upper hand.
I got a little 205 point lead on Chris there, so just tie me, Chris. Yeah, Chris and Chase still could get that bye week depending on how these next few weeks go. So
yep. All you do is go 1-1 over the next 2 weeks, and you're good. You're golden.
Yep. I'm hoping that's what I do. I'm hoping I go 4-0 actually.
I mean, yeah.
Then jumping into this week's games, start off with number 2, Trade Station, versus number 7, The Unknowns. And this is the game that earlier in the season, I played it safe with my lineup, and Garrett beat me by exactly 1 point, scoring his highest 116. So I am not feeling comfy in this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, on paper, this should be a no-brainer for your team. Average score-wise for the matchup, average score for the season. But as we saw earlier in the year, none of that really actually matters week to week. Obviously, Garrett's at the 7th seed, so he's still trying to hunt to get into the playoffs. So this is a big week for both of you guys.
Yeah, and like you said, I've got the huge advantage on record and points for, but I also had that advantage in the past 2 weeks, and I lost both of those games. So I don't trust anything anymore, and I'm just praying to the fantasy gods, trying to figure out which one I pissed off. Also, Garrett, right now, his preseason rankings were correct. He had me at number 2 and him at number 7, so I'm sure he's hoping he's wrong on that and trying to get to number 6, but hopefully not this week. Then we have number 8, Hungry Hungry Hush Puppies versus number 10, the Bad Bad Boys. Alex, completely out of the playoffs, can't get in. Aaron, right on the fringe of either falling out of contention or making it. This is a must-win scenario for Aaron. There is a loss here, just he's out.
Yeah, a loss here, or an 0-2 here, he's completely done. A 1-1, I think he still has some lifelines, but it'll take a miracle. To be perfectly honest, 2-0, he still needs a miracle. He's still going to be on the outside looking in. If Aaron wants any shot at even attempting to make the playoffs, you got to get the 2-0 this week. On paper, it should be fine. His team is much better than Alex's, and much better than the 8th seed overall. We'll see if he can put it together.
Then we got number 1, Red Rain versus number 5, Pantaji Pooball Team. You took that one earlier in the year, 132 to 110. Right now, you are playing for nothing but Elder Pride.
It's Jacob. I've known him the longest out of anyone in the league, so obviously I want to beat him. Our teams, I thought, weren't in the same situation, but post these trades, Jacob's team has looked much better than it has recently. Part of that, honestly, is just due to Calvin Ridley remembering that he's a football player, which apparently is linked to Zay Jones for some reason. Yeah, as the Jags go, he goes, and usually that's a team you don't want to hitch your horse to, but of the last couple of years, it's not the worst thing.
He's climbing his way back up to 99 points for on average, so about to hit those triple digits potentially. Back-to-back weeks, top 3. He's making a push. He is in 5th. So he's got the Miller buffer there, but he definitely doesn't want to get too close to that edge. Then we have number 6, Abilene Woodpeckers versus number 9, Grillers. That is the 69 matchup. Pretty good. Colt won the first matchup. This was the Grillin matchup versus Miller. Beat him by 1.5 points. Right now, he is on that fringe. Miller is the guy at that 6th spot, so he has to win to stay in contention, and 2, he needs Miller to lose. So he's got it in his hands right now, and Miller has a chance to knock out another person that could be pulling him out of the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, Colt's pretty much got the best scenario you could hope for with playing the guy that you need to beat to get in the playoffs.
He's got the perfect scenario too, because Josh Allen is out.
Yeah, I mean, if there's ever a week to beat Miller's team, it's the week that he doesn't have Josh Allen. And I guess, I mean, it is another, like you said earlier, it's another grilling matchup too, so there's a little added incentive for Colt to win.
Miller's team averaging 103, Colt only averaging 92, but averaging over 100 with the Grillers. So
that's true, yeah.
And then last game of the week, we got number 3, Mahomes Improvement versus number 4, What'll It Take. They can't fall out of the playoffs, but they can both get into that bye week. So this is going to determine which one has that opportunity after this week.
Looking at the season, their points for pretty close. Their head-to-head matchup, they actually have the same points for. Obviously, this is a matchup of two very close teams. They've been pretty close all year. Chris had a little midseason skid, but he rebounded last week. Chase has kind of been up and down all year, but he's coming off the number one score of the week with the 150.
I don't even know who I don't know who I would call in this matchup. This is going to be tight.
I think this is as close to a coin flip as you can get, at least at this point in the season.
Pretty much all we got for this week. I did want to throw a little mention back. Forgot to say, Chris is now 10-0 versus Colt. He has pulled off the double digits. Colt hasn't won a single game. Chris just absolutely owns Colt as a person, I think. I didn't think that was legal, Chris, so probably don't go bragging about it too much, but I think you own Colt in some aspect. I don't know.
We won't get into the specifics of it. That's not important. But 10-0 against an opponent is ridiculous. And now, I mean, that's just going to be something we're having to bring up every time Chris and Colt play is, will Colt ever beat Chris at this point?
Yeah. And even if he does, I mean, if they play
a long way to go to even that series.
If they play 2 times a year, it'll take him 5 more years to even that matchup out.
That's insane.
Yeah. A little 5-year lead there. So, that I would feel real bad, Colt. I
kind of want to set this up for week 1 next year is Colt and Chris. Just start every year off with Colt versus Chris just for the shit of it.
Yeah, we get the championship rematch and also Colt and Chris matchup. Yeah, we got to make sure they play twice a year from now on. Get that.
Yep. See if they can balloon the other way.
Yeah. Yep. But yeah, some good matchups. Definitely some teams that are in must-win scenarios. Otherwise, they are just out. So, yeah, gonna be fun to watch.
If you're not in the playoffs, time to buckle down. If you're in the playoffs, keep it together. Don't fuck up now.
Yep. Right now, it's only Miller and Jacob that can fall out of the playoffs. So, top 4 secured it.
All right. Well, Jacob, you have to wait 1 more week. I'm not letting you.
There you go.